Beers with an Engineer here, and today I'm going to rate some peanut butter and jelly inspired fruited sours. Now, I'm not a connoisseur, and I'm just here for a good time and some good beer. Cheers. So to really get things started, I thought it would be best to try them against a real Uncrustable, right? Let's take a bite. I think I need another bite to really compare it to. Okay, well, now that that's done, let's get into it. Okay, so first up we have Mortalis Brewing Company's Demi-Hydra Crustables. So before we get into the rubric, there are some other things that I kind of want to just cover or observe. The first is the date canned. Now, on the bottom of this can, there's no date. I think this one was canned in May or June of this year, so it's probably, 3 or 4 months old, right? Next, I want to get into the Untapped ratings. So this Demi-Hydra Crustables comes in at 5%, and the description says that this gluten-free fruited sour is focused on the lighter side of fruit and flavor. This version blends strawberry, grape, and peanut butter to create a lower ABV, lighter-bodied, and easier-drinking version of our beloved Hydra smoothies. Out of 543 ratings, this comes in at 4.48 out of 5 stars. Now, let's pour it. Another thing I would like to note is that this is an ale base fruited sour. Now, let's get into the rubric. Okay, so the first line on the rubric is the can art. Looking at it, it's very sleek. It does follow the Demi-Hydra brand. I will say the combination of colors, the brown, purple, and that red, would make me think of a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I don't know if I would know right off the bat what it is. I'll give the can art a 3. Next is the name. Demi-Hydra, that's their line. Crustables, obviously everybody goes for the Uncrustable branding when they're coming for the PB&J sour. So obviously it does relate to PB&J, but it's not really creative, maybe memorable. I think I'm gonna give this one a 3 as well. Okay, let's taste. As far as the white bread goes, I want to be able to feel it, we have to reach up there and get your finger, just honestly, I'd probably give it a 4 on the white bread feel. As far as PB&J balance goes, I think it does a pretty good job at combining the ingredients together. I would say that you get a lot of peanut butter up front on the smell, but then jelly and then taste. You know what? I'll give it that 50-50 blend. I'll give it a 5 on that. As far as the overall experience and flavor goes, I wouldn't say it is an absolutely must try for any, peanut butter and jelly lover, at least for me personally, but it is definitely a great PB&J fruited sour. I'll give this a 4 on that one. And I guess we can move on to the next beer. Okay, so up next we have Drekker's Spread It PB&J. This one was canned April 9th of this year. Spread It PB&J Sour by Drekker Brewing Company comes in at a 6%. The description says that Spread It is a new PB&J sour that's slathered with gobs of ooey gooey peanut butter, grape, and plum for that sweet, savory, sticky, old, reliable, classic triple-decker PB&J flavor that nobody's ever too old to enjoy. At the time of filming, it has 2,087 ratings, coming in at 3.98 out of 5. I would also like to add that this is, again, an ale base, but now let's just get into the rubric. Honestly, this can art is pretty incredible, in my opinion. I mean, you have the knife spreading the peanut butter on the bread, cutting its face off. You have some happy guys in the background, the toaster even with the evil bread. I am gonna give this can art a 5. I think it's very creative, it's outstanding, it's creepy and cute and cool all in one sitting. The name, Spread It. If I hadn't seen the can art or read the description or anything, when I think of a spread, I would think it was more jam or jelly-like. However, I wouldn't think that it was necessarily a PB&J sour. Based on the rubric, I initially was thinking a 3 for this, but based on what I wrote down here, it might actually be a 2. Okay, well, I'm between a 2 and a 3 because basic or unoriginal, isn't necessarily the case in my opinion, but it's not really connected to PB&J. I would give it a 2.5, and I'll round that up to a 3. So Drekker, you get a 3 for the name. Next up is the white bread feel, so let's give it a taste. As far as white bread feel really goes, you can kind of get that like gobs of jelly on a sandwich feeling. Honestly, I would probably give this a 2 on the white bread feel. This is serious business. I would give this 2 on the white bread feel. As far as the PB&J balance goes, there's definitely an overpowering peanut or like roasted peanut flavor. Like the peanuts are very upfront, punches you in the nose and the mouth, the entire face if you will. And then at the very last second, the jelly kind of wraps it up and leaves you with that aftertaste. So it's probably more of a 75 peanut butter, 25 jelly, so we'll give you a 3 on that one. I say we like there's other people here, it's literally just me. As far as overall flavor and experience goes, I am sadly between the 2 and the 3. I genuinely think that I would give this a 2. It's not something that I would seek out. It is decent. Number 3, it says it is decent, but it's just there's going to be other decent beers around it that I would choose way before this one. So I would probably drink this only if there wasn't really anything else available. Okay, so up next we have Zool's PB&J mixtape. This was canned back for their PB&J day that I did wait in line for on March 25th of this year. And for Zool cans, if you didn't know, if you ever get your hands on one, they put little messages at the bottom, and this one says, "Condolences, Chef." So now getting into the Untapped ratings. PB&J Mixtape by Zool Beer Company comes in at 6.5%, which is the highest out of the 4 we have today. And the description is short, sweet, and simple. It's peanut butter and jelly, gluten-free sour, straight from your childhood. The ratings is what really shocks me about this one. I'm from the same city that they are based in, so I knew the impact that it had here. I don't think I really knew the magnitude of the PB&J mixtape everywhere else. And out of 5,675 ratings, it comes in at a 4.47 out of 5. I will say with this one though, it is not an ale base, it is a seltzer base. So you could almost argue that it's not even really beer, right? We'll move on. Now let's get into the can art. Looking at it right off the bat, I mean, the background of it with that light tan kind of checker thing going on, the letters in 3D, I mean, the mixtape just dripping with peanut butter that fades into that jelly. If I saw this initially, I would think similar to the Demi-Hydra with the brown and the kind of pinkish. It's not even purple actually, that grape jelly. I'm just now realizing that. But with the pinkish, you might kind of tie together like, oh, it's a peanut butter and jelly style beer. And if you know Zool and their branding, obviously they're very like 80s, they're into music, that kind of thing, and so this definitely fits the bill for that. So I would say that it's a 4. It's very good. It's eye-catching design, it's well executed, it is pretty creative. You know, PB&J mixtape, I never would have put those two together or thought of that really. So for the name, I think I'm going to slide them into the 4 category again. Clever and memorable, and it's well connected to the PB&J theme. So for the white bread feel, I mean, you can kind of get that texture and that feel on the roof of your mouth. I would probably give it a 3. There's a thickness to it, but I think it's more based off of the jelly texture instead of white bread. So yeah, I would just give this one a 3 for that. Going into the PB&J balance, I would give that a 5. It has that 50-50 blend. The flavors meld together. Overall experience and flavor is a 4 for Zool. Let's get on to the last one. Okay, so what we have next is Marble Fox's No Crust. And with 67 ratings, they come in at 4.25. This is another ale-based one. It is 6%, and the description says, dive into the nostalgic flavors of childhood with our no-crust PB&J ale. This playful brew combines the rich, creamy taste of peanut butter with the sweet, fruity flavor of jelly. Smooth and satisfying, each sip brings back memories of a favorite sandwich, minus the crust. This was canned on August 2nd of this year, and on the bottom they also included the title of their beer. And what's cool about this is actually their first canning of this beer. They did, I think, just like a small batch release in their tap room to see, I guess, kind of how it would sell and how people would react to it or respond to it. So it's really cool to have like the first edition of this. Super excited to try this. So let's get into the rubric. So first things first, this can art. It is very simple, very sleek, not wowing me whatsoever, to be completely honest with you, but they stay consistent within their line, which is kind of similar how Mortalis does it, except with Marble Fox, again, they are very new, so all of their cans have their logo, like their symbol with a circle around it, and then like the name and everything that goes on there. I do like how the can is black to match that label. I think that was a nice little addition to it. I don't know if I would necessarily get peanut butter and jelly. Maybe I could like reach and really jump for that conclusion. So as far as can art goes, I would honestly give it a 2. Now, their logo, I will say, is really cool, because over here you have the M, and this over here represents an F, Marble Fox, they make the fox. I think that's really cool. I do. But for this specific reason, again, it's nothing incredible to me. It's not eye-catching. It would fit in with the rest of the beers on their shelf. Moving on to the name, like I've said before, everybody talks about how it's based off an Uncrustable that you had in school. I mean, I don't know what else you would call it. So no crust, kind of following pursuit in the Demi-Hydra Crustables. It is related to PB&J. If you said no crust, you see these colors, you're going to think, oh, Uncrustable, easily, like peanut butter and jelly sandwich for a kid. Like, yeah, we ate those growing up. So with this one, I'm kind of in between like a 2 and a 3. I'll be nice again and round up to a 3, because it is, it's a solid name. It's a solid PB&J related name. Yeah, I guess let's dive into it. Immediately off the bat, you will get that peanut butter and jelly flavor. However, as soon as you have put that cup down, it's a beer. You have that, again, like almost like an aroma, like a glimpse of that peanut butter and jelly, but you taste the ale base. Okay, so for the white bread feel, it is similar to the rest of them, where it really just like, the best way I can describe this is like it thickens up your saliva. This is gross, I'm so sorry. And it just kind of makes it harder to swallow the drink. So because it's the same as the rest of them, I will probably give it a 3 for the white bread resemblance. As for the PB&J balance, this one is genuinely between a 1 and a 3. The problem is that I can't really determine that well, because that's not the prominent flavor here. Okay, so after basically finishing this taster glass, I have determined that it is primarily jelly, but you do get a little bit of peanut butter in the aftertaste. So I will say it's that 25-75 balance. Now moving on to the overall experience and flavor. I hate to say this is probably going to be between a 1 and a 2 for me. Because to me, this is just not something I would seek out. Maybe it was something with the canning, or like the one I got, I don't know. Maybe it's different from on tap versus in the can. That can also happen as well. I sound really aggressively mean when I describe this beer, and I promise it's not like the worst thing in the world. I promise you it's not. I probably would drink this if there was nothing else to drink, to be completely honest with you. It's not that bad. It's just, again, for this situation, with these 4 beers present, it's not giving what it's supposed to give. It's not something I would pursue personally. So I will give that a 2 for the overall experience and flavor. So that does conclude my taste test ranking for this. Here are the averages above. If you try any of these, please let me know your thoughts. And if you have other beers that you want me to try, like any other PB&J variants or any other PB&J brands, let me know. You can also send them to me. Just reach out. I'm more than happy to take any of these from you. But yeah, that's it. Thanks.